always knew the bad news was coming with Todd, because he'd go, here's the thing. And he said, we're going to lose the orchestra in Dresden, and we have to do all of the conducting first.
I do think there's a distinct lack of shame in society at the moment. I think shame is very different to guilt. Guilt is very useless.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have been out here messing with folks in Hollywood for way longer than we thought. And the drama with Justin Baldoni and Cate, that's just scratching the surface. Cate Blanchett just dropped a bombshell in a brand new, fiery interview. And if Cate is spilling the details, then it's deeper and dirtier than anyone expected. Word is, Blake didn't just try to slide into Cate's territory. She allegedly snatched it right from under her and then disrespected her to her face when she was called out. The shade is real, but Cate didn't scream or clap back in public. Nah, she kept it classy and quiet. Behind the scenes, though, she was cooking up some next-level revenge that's about to shake things up. And from the looks of it, she might be the one to finally shut Blake and Ryan's antics down for good. Now here's where it gets even messier. Anyone who's been keeping up knows Cate and Chanel have been locked in tight for years. We're talking iconic status. She's been the face of the brand for over a decade, and the whole partnership just works like magic. Cate's not just some random starlet. They picked her because she's got elegance, talent, and presence that can't be faked. Cate Blanchett isn't just stylish. She is the definition of high-class fashion.
It's sometimes good to be really simple. I mean, Matisse says this fantastic thing. It's just, don't try and be original. Just be simple.
She's got that timeless grace, old school elegance, and a deep connection to heritage style, all rolled into one. And nobody does that better than Chanel. For years, Cate's been front and center. Private fittings, exclusive couture shows, and in 2021, she even locked in a multi-season deal to lead Chanel's Women in Cinema campaign. And here's where it gets real shady. As part of that campaign, Chanel funded a beautiful legacy short film written by Cate's husband, Andrew Upton. This wasn't some flashy Hollywood flick. It was a quiet, artsy black and white piece. 2 women, no dialogue, just raw emotion and storytelling through movement. The contracts were signed. The creative was locked. Everything was greenlit and ready for the spotlight. But when the big reveal day came, boom, Blake Lively walks in like she owned the place. Fans were stunned. People were whispering, "Why is Blake here? Where's Cate?" It looked like something behind the scenes had gone totally left. At first, folks thought maybe Cate backed out or had issues with the brand, but nope, there was no beef between Cate and Chanel, none. Turns out it was a whole setup. Someone from Chanel had hit up Cate's team last minute, saying the campaign's direction had changed. That's industry code for "you've been replaced." Without warning, Cate was hit hard by the news, completely blindsided. There hadn't been any drama, no beef, nothing to hint this was coming.
No, they're so look at these. They match my outfit. Look at those nails. Wow. Aren't they incredible? Those are amazing. I had time for that. I literally did it while at work. It was a little chaotic. It was worth it.
But then Blake popped up as the new face of the campaign, and suddenly it all clicked. And just when you think it couldn't get worse, it did. They didn't even bother tossing out the original idea Cate helped shape. Nope. They just sprinkled on some glitter, slapped in a few cheesy motivational quotes, threw on some red lipstick, and called it fresh. Seriously? Even people inside the campaign were stunned. Word is, one of the stylists leaked texts that said Blake was never meant to be part of this project. But Blake's team came through offering a massive cross-platform deal, something so big that Chanel couldn't say no to. But kicking Cate out like that wasn't just business. It was cold and risky, real risky. But Blake's crew didn't stop there. They cooked up a whole narrative, trying to paint Cate as outdated, like Blake was the one rescuing Chanel from fading away. The disrespect was wild. By March 2023, Chanel was fully leaning into this new image, hosting a super private dinner in Paris. The invite list, legacy actresses, elite directors, top creatives, and brand insiders only. Cate had RSVP'd for the big Chanel dinner months in advance. She was set to unveil her husband, Andrew Upton's artistic short film at the event. It was supposed to be a proud moment, but just 2 weeks before the dinner, boom, Chanel suddenly announced that Blake Lively would be honored that night.
The more I do, in a way, I think the less I know. And I've had a very eclectic and strange career that has taken me many places. But perhaps if there's any connective tissue in my career, it's the desire to know. It's the quest to unlock what it means to be human, that strange nub of fearful, joyful uncertainty that it is to be a human being.
And Cate's film, quietly erased from the schedule, swapped out for Blake's flashy theme about beauty, film, and wellness, or whatever spin her team was selling. But Cate didn't back down. She showed up anyway, head high, looking flawless, like the queen she is. Everything was going smooth until Blake decided to stir things up. According to someone who was there, Blake was sitting at another table with a high-up Chanel creative. And guess what she was overheard saying? "I just feel like I could bring something fresh to it, like that script was beautiful, but a little outdated, right?" Then the creative, clearly not realizing how deep this cut, chuckled and replied, "You mean Andrew's script? I didn't even know it was her husband's until later."
Well, I always approach every role as a woman because I am. I don't really think about that. I do think there's a distinct lack of shame in society at the moment. I think shame is very different to guilt. Guilt is a very useless emotion. I don't know what you do with that. But shame and regret and the lessons one can learn from that are, I think, are very powerful.
But I mean, legacy doesn't sell to Gen Z. Cate was sitting just a few feet away. She heard everything. And even though she didn't call them out or make a scene, insiders said she looked heartbroken for the rest of the night. Can you blame her? But it gets messier. Jump to April 2023, when Blake's big Chanel x Netflix crossover campaign officially launched. But guess what slipped through the cracks? A British fashion magazine had already greenlit a feature article back when Cate was still the face of the campaign, and Chanel's PR team forgot to cancel it. The article dropped with all kinds of details linking Cate to the project, even name-dropping Andrew Upton's film and highlighting her creative role. So, that article, it accidentally went live on April 16th with everything still in it. Cate's involvement, Andrew's short film, all the behind-the-scenes tea. It only stayed up for about 3 hours, but that was more than enough time for people to grab screenshots and blow it up on social media. Within hours, the internet was buzzing. Folks were dragging Blake, accusing her of hijacking Cate's legacy and trying to bury the truth. People weren't holding back. Comments were flying in fast, calling her out for shady behavior and saying she bullied her way into the spotlight. Now Cate, she stayed classy and never directly addressed the drama. But weeks later, she sent a message loud and clear during a quiet acceptance speech at a small humanitarian award event in Berlin. It wasn't a flashy red carpet moment.
I think I'm just brunette because of the books.
And everyone knows blondes are nicer anyway. A moment by me.
Remember Savannah.
It was another promise was no pet monkey. Chuck has a matching pet monkey with coordinating outfits, and I was like, I would love to be part of the show, but I can't act with a monkey. And then I got a few of them. Come on, it was a joke. Lord have mercy.
Your wardrobe? That is important. Very good.
It's very important.
This is wardrobe.
This is wardrobe. This was on the return rack. I think it was hers. So I had to go and slip them cash to wear it today.
But someone in the room captured the now deleted clip, and Cate did not hold back. She said, "There's a difference between honoring a story and owning it like it was always yours. One builds legacy, the other builds ego." Whew. That line hit like a mic drop, chilling, poetic, and clearly aimed at someone. Blake's backlash kept growing and her PR team, total chaos. We all know how defensive her camp gets when things go south, and this time, they were spiraling. It seemed like they thought Cate's fans would stay quiet, but they didn't count on how deep that loyalty runs. By now, Blake's whole campaign was starting to crack. One major sign, she pulled out of a scheduled appearance on a well-known fashion talk show on YouTube. Official word was scheduling conflicts, but insiders said that was just a cover-up. One of the crew members from that YouTube fashion show ended up leaking behind-the-scenes footage of the host rehearsing the intro, and it was juicy. The host was gearing up to hit Blake with the question, what really went down with Cate Blanchett, and why was her campaign mysteriously wiped? If that interview had aired, it would have been a total train wreck for Blake. Canceling was a smart move. They dodged a huge disaster. But honestly, the damage was already done. The internet had already cast Blake as the villain in this Hollywood mess, and her perfect PR image started cracking fast. Everything she'd built up was collapsing like a flimsy house of cards. Meanwhile, Cate wasn't out here crying in some dark corner or plotting some revenge story behind closed doors. Nah, she just kept it moving. No drama, no fuss. She stayed booked, busy, and unbothered. In June 2023, Cate and Andrew quietly premiered a new original two-person play at the Sydney Theatre Company. The script, all Andrew. The direction, all Cate. But here's the thing. This wasn't some flashy comeback move. They weren't out here trying to clap back at Chanel or chase headlines. The premiere of Cate and Andrew's play wasn't some glitzy Hollywood red carpet event. It was intimate, raw, and full of real ones.
Whose love interest were you?
I was Blake Lively's love interest.
You were?
Yeah.
Okay, well
Sounds
then.
like she was the problem.
It sure does, Chelsea.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Don't put words into his mouth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because my foot is already there.
No, it is not.
No,
Hey,
yeah, continue. Sorry, it's your show.
no, please, you continue.
No,
I'm
no,
interested
go
in what
ahead.
you. No, I like
Sorry.
I need another drink.
it. Hey, Katie.
Hey, y'all are cracking me up.
The crowd, a mix of true theater lovers and film buffs who actually respect the craft. But here's the part that got people talking. The play was originally titled Lines That Weren't Meant to Be Read, but that got switched last minute to the credit. And let's just say, folks definitely caught the message. It felt like a subtle but sharp jab at Blake, who many believe snatched Cate's moment without giving her an ounce of credit. Cate didn't throw tantrums. She didn't blast anyone online. She just moved with elegance. And that quiet strength hit harder than any public feud ever could. A lot of people admired how she handled everything. Other actresses might have clapped back publicly or thrown shade through the media, but Cate, she let her work do the talking. Still, folks couldn't ignore what was happening behind the scenes. It wasn't just this one incident. More and more stories about Blake's behavior started surfacing. And the picture they painted? Not cute. Turns out Cate wasn't the first or the only person who felt this kind of treatment. Blake has been allegedly rubbing people the wrong way for years. Word is, she's got a habit of trying to steal scenes, stepping over co-stars when it's not her time to shine. A resurfaced interview clip has been making waves online, and it's not a good look for Blake Lively. In the video, she's sitting next to her Gossip Girl co-star Leighton Meester, and things get real awkward, real fast. Blake cracks a so-called joke about Leighton being born in prison, then turns around and compares her other castmates to monkeys in a cage. Seriously? The whole thing came off super mean-spirited, not funny. You could feel the tension. Leighton looked uncomfortable, and the other co-stars didn't crack a single smile. Their body language said it all, but instead of calling it out, they just shrugged it off like that's just Blake being Blake. But that excuse, it's not flying anymore. Turns out Blake had allegedly been messing with Leighton for most of their time filming Gossip Girl. Back in 2017, the show's executive producer, Joshua Safran, spilled a little tea, saying the two actresses didn't really vibe on set. He tried to soften the blow by chalking it up to different personalities. But after that clip went viral, fans started putting the pieces together, and Blake's quirky rep wasn't looking so cute anymore. And it doesn't stop with Leighton. Armie Hammer, another one of Blake's former co-stars, once aired out his own experience working with her. And it wasn't pretty. He said Blake acted like a total diva on set. Everything had to go exactly her way, and if something was even a little off, boom, meltdown. No patience, no flexibility, just drama. During an interview with Andy Cohen, Armie finally spoke up about why he dipped out on Gossip Girl. He tried to keep it classy, but you could hear the regret in his voice. The way he talked about it, like the whole experience left him shook. And let's not even pretend the rumors stop there, because word on the street is that when Blake doesn't vibe with someone, she makes sure the whole set turns against them too. Take Penn Badgley, for example. Ever wonder why he always seemed a little out of place during the early Gossip Girl days? Allegedly, Blake was out here telling directors and co-stars from day one that Penn was difficult and not someone they should be friendly with. She basically iced him out before he even had a chance to prove himself. It took weeks for Penn to finally connect with the rest of the cast. But once they actually got to know him, they were like, wait a second. This guy is nothing like what Blake said. People started realizing that maybe she just made him the target because she didn't like him for whatever reason. Classic manipulation move. So when Justin Baldoni later came forward with his story, fans were shocked, but not surprised. He claimed Blake went way beyond diva behavior. According to sources, she didn't just want the spotlight, she wanted control. Blake allegedly started rewriting scenes on her own without clearing anything with Justin.
we do have It Starts With Us, so I'm hoping to see you back in the double duty role.
I think there are better people for that one.
Justin.
I think Blake Lively's ready to direct. That's what I think.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Justin said he doesn't know if he'd be game to direct the next one, but perhaps Blake would. Is that something that you would entertain?
Oh, absolutely. I think that whoever decides to take charge of the next one would do it justice. But, it's a lot of people to get the same schedules together again.
Who was directing the project. When he pushed back and refused to use her edits, that's when things allegedly got next level. Reports say Blake hit him with threats, dropping names like they were weapons. She supposedly warned him that if he didn't play along, she had her dragons, aka her bestie Taylor Swift and husband Ryan Reynolds, ready to step in. But hold up, it doesn't even stop there. Allegedly, sources say Blake didn't just clash with Justin Baldoni. She went behind his back and started lobbying Colleen Hoover directly, trying to score the director's chair for the next installment of the movie. And get this, she made her move before any lawsuits or legal drama had even popped off. Now here's where it gets real shady. Justin's contract guarantees him the right to direct and produce every single part of the film series. But there's one catch, a hidden clause that says if he gets caught up in any morally damaging scandal, especially something serious like an SA allegation, he loses all creative control. Done. Gone. So for Blake to allegedly start pushing to replace him before anything even went public, it's raising a lot of eyebrows. Makes you wonder, did she know something was coming? Or was she just trying to slide into position, ready to snatch that role if things blew up? Meanwhile, Cate Blanchett didn't let any of this Hollywood mess push her out. She stood her ground, stayed classy, and refused to be sidelined, especially not by someone playing games behind closed doors. But now we've got questions. Do you think Cate should have played it more aggressively, or did she handle it just right? And most of all, is this the beginning of the end for Blake's picture-perfect career? Sound off in the comments. We want to hear what you think. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes tea.